Best race of the season. Best race of the season. Monza Grand Prix, best race of the season. And I won't be debated on it. It's one of those races that just makes you fall in love with racing all over again. It's like, this is why I'm a fan. Did Max ultimately win and was cruising around watching the telly? Yes, but at least we had the fight for the lead. When was the last time we had the fight for the lead? Like a proper fight that went on for more than, a couple laps or whatever. Let me start with qualifying. There was just such good vibes having Carlos Sainz get pole. Had Leclerc's number all weekend, which is quite rare. I still think over the course of this season, Carlos Sainz is actually just a more consistent, well-rounded driver. I think Leclerc smashes the car up too much. He ends up... Carlos... You just look at the races and Carlos kind of always, or most of the time, ends up in front of Leclerc and ends up scoring more points. So, yeah, but no, on raw pace, though, he doesn't usually have his number. But he had his number all weekend, both in the race and, I was going to say out the race, and in qualifying. But yeah, just a real barnstorming banger. There was the fight for the lead, which, was inevitable that... that Sainz was going to get past eventually. The less inevitable one was that Perez was going to get past. I thought they'd keep Perez behind. So the Red Bull was really on form this weekend when Perez manages to get second. Sorry, I'm sorry, I can't help it. He did have a great race, but everyone's saying, "Oh, it's an amazing drive from him." Yeah, but again, he shouldn't have been down the fifth in the first place. It shouldn't have been that difficult. He shouldn't have had to fight for his life the way he was because he shouldn't have been there in the first place. But anyway, he did have a good race in the end. But yeah, just a crack. And then the Ferraris fighting each other. Gee, I was sizzling. I was like, oh my God. Like, so good. I could have watched the Ferraris fight each other. I could have watched that for the rest of my life. It was so good. Lewis Hamilton having a real moaning his arse off day in the race, really was complaining like a motherfuck. And that was really silly what he did to Oscar. Just a really clumsy, absent-minded move when he just kind of drifts over to him in the braking zone. Needless, senseless, ridiculous. So I actually thought a 5-second penalty was a tad on the light side. I think he could have quite easily have had a 10-second penalty for that, and I wouldn't have batted an eyelid. Albon, I'm really on the hype train. I'm on the Albon hype train. I'm fully on it. I'm on the train. Amazing job all weekend, fighting the McLaren for his life, fighting off the McLarens and Perez and whoever else rocked up behind him. Not Perez, I don't think, but he did amazing. McLarens, I don't know. They had those two great weekends where it looked like they were easily the second fastest car, and then they've just kind of gone back to kind of relative mediocrity again. So that's a bit weird. Aston Martin have become a bit like Mercedes at the start of the season, where it's just like one weekend, you don't know if they're going to blow the competition away or they're going to just be kind of hanging around the fringes of the point. And we've got to go there. We've got to go there now. I've been a Lance Stroll sympathizer for many years, and I've always said, hey, he's a good racer on his day. To be 20th in an Aston Martin it's so beyond unacceptable. This was the weekend where I officially left the Lance Stroll sympathizer club. That's not on. Last. Like I said, the Aston wasn't great this weekend, and I know he missed out on a few practice sessions, blah, blah, but that's not an excuse. Liam Lawson, farted, got off the sofa, and jumped in that AlphaTauri and was ahead of Yuki Tsunoda. So I won't have that he missed out on a couple of practice sessions. That's why I'm sorry, that's not good enough. Last in an Aston Martin, not on. Too much, too far. And then didn't really do anything in the race either. Totally unacceptable. And something needs to be done now. I think even Lawrence Stroll must be going, this Lance guy kind of ain't shit. Because that's last in qualifying. Last! No. Sorry. Can't do that. You can't do that. But yeah, anyway, Max, 10 in a row, broke the record. He broke the record last time out, but now he has the record all to himself, most consecutive wins in Formula One history. We got to start having the GOAT conversation. We've gotten there now. Oh, the car is good, but it's not that good. It's not what he's doing in it. I know Lewis Hamilton's been running his mouth saying he's not impressed, whatever. We've got to... I'm not saying he is the GOAT. I'm saying we've got to have the conversation now. Not saying he is. I'm saying we've got to have the conversation and go, do you know what? Let's get Schumacher, Hamilton, Senna, Verstappen all in the room. That would be difficult. And let's have the conversation about who is the GOAT. Fangio, don't rate him. Sorry, I'm just trying to cause trouble now. No, but we've got to have the conversation. But yeah, in terms of the race, really stuck a boot up the arse of the season. I think that's what I'm saying. And Italy shaped boot up the arse of the season. That was a fucking race. That was brilliant. And that's all I want, really. You know, if Max is going to go and win and watch the telly and whatever, fine. But let's at least have a fight for it. And we had a fight for it. Not one that was ever going to go a different way, really, probably. But still, you know, let's have a fight for it. So, and I think generally speaking, the teams little by little are getting there and are catching up with Red Bull. So more of that to come, hopefully.